The first thing that I got to remind you is that God wants you to keep planting because He is faithful. Keep planting because God is faithful. Right there in the text, this is what the Lord of Heaven's army says. You can be sure that I will rescue my people from the east and from the west. I will bring them home again to live safely in Jerusalem. They will be my people, and I will be faithful and just toward them as their God. There are many people right now in the world who question the faithfulness of God. We question whether God is faithful when we deal with pandemics. Somebody questioned whether God was faithful when a young brother who looks like me was shot and killed, not just shot and killed, tracked down as if he were a wild animal and killed. They asked, where is your God? Individuals who have lost those that were close to them. I talked to a man whose wife died due to this coronavirus, and some around here would ask, where is your God? I'm not intelligent enough, and I don't understand the mind of God to understand why He sometimes allows everything to happen. But the only thing I can do is declare as a witness that in the midst of it all, God is faithful. I don't have the understanding to tell you why certain individuals continue to not make it home late in the midnight hour, even in the middle of the day, coming from the movie theater, going to the store, jogging in the neighborhood. I don't understand why that school tragedies and church shootings still happen, but I just stand as a witness to tell you that God is faithful. I always like talking about this particular subject because on social media, this is the time where the naysayers will chime in and say, where is your God when all of these evil things are happening? This is where people will make smart comments and say, if your God loved you so much, where was He when these things started to take place? I can't answer all of the questions, but I stand here as a witness that God is faithful. I can tell you and show you in the text that God is so faithful that He gave us real stories of real people who made it over. While it is true that God kept His promise to the Jewish people and they made it back to the promised land, the raw and real of this particular text, there were hundreds of thousands, if not millions, who died on the way. I think we know something about that. I think that we have some ancestors in some of our histories who didn't get to where we are. They didn't get to go to school. They didn't get to get married. They experienced all type of abuse. But the reason you are here, you stand as a witness that as a people we made it over. Why? Because God is faithful. And I don't know why God sometimes allow us to hurt the way that He hurts. But I stand as a witness that God is faithful. I have lost some things in my life, but God is still faithful. How do I know that He's faithful? Because I'm standing here when I don't deserve to be here. I've made so many decisions that should have taken me elsewhere, but by the faithfulness of God, I'm still here. And I'm also reminded that even though death hurts on this side, I read somewhere that to be absent in the body is to be present with the Lord. That's why we are on assignment, and that's why we have to keep planting, because we never know when someone's time is going to come. We are on assignment to get everybody we possibly can connected to God, because if they take me out over here, on that great getting up morning, when this life is over, I will find myself in the presence of God. Why? Because God is faithful. And even on this side of the journey, come what may, whatever betide, God will take care of me. I know that because I can feed my family in the middle of a pandemic. I know that because I have a good wife in the middle of a pandemic. That's a word for somebody who's praying for the right one. God is faithful. I stand here with the education. That's a good word for somebody who's praying for your child to make something of themselves. I didn't always have a degree, but God is faithful. He saw the best in me when everybody else saw the worst in me. How did he do it? Because God is faithful.